CNN has learned that special counsel Robert Mueller's team has talked to the infamous Manhattan Madam Kristin Davis as part of the Russia investigation. Davis worked for and is a friend of the former Trump advisor Roger Stone. Our political correspondent Sarah Murray is here. She's working the story. Also with us, former federal prosecutor, former assistant U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia, Glenn Kirshner, is with us as well. So, Sarah, I know you're doing a lot of reporting on this. Walk us through the latest information we're getting.
Well, Wolf, we are learning, me and my colleague MJ Lee, that Kristin Davis, who is famously known as the Manhattan Madam, has met with the special counsel Robert Mueller's team. 4 sources are telling us that, and that they also are interested in bringing her back and having her testify before the grand jury. Now, this is interesting because she's known Roger Stone for a long time, for at least a decade. She's done work for him on and off over the course of their friendship together, and it tells you that prosecutors still appear to be very interested in Roger Stone, his personal activities, his financial activities, and they may be trying to build a case against him. Now, he has not heard from the special counsel, but he has said publicly that he is bracing for the possibility of an indictment. But, you know, Kristin Davis's story in and of itself is pretty interesting. This is someone who ran a prostitution ring. She went to jail in the scandal surrounding New York Governor Eliot Spitzer, who eventually resigned because of his own involvement in a separate prostitution service. And she's had a lot on her plate over the years. She ran for governor in 2010. That's one of the instances where she actually worked alongside Roger Stone, and one of her platforms was legalizing prostitution, legalizing marijuana. Obviously, she was not successful in this bid. And the last sort of perplexing thing about this case is we don't know exactly what the special counsel wants to get from Kristin Davis. But we do know that his prosecutors have asked some bizarre questions of other witnesses. She has a son. Roger Stone happens to be the godfather of that son. But apparently in interviews with other witnesses, people have been asked whether that child could be Roger Stone's child. Sort of difficult to figure out how this all fits into the broader scheme of whether, you know, Russia colluded or whether any Russians colluded with anyone in Donald Trump's orbit in 2016, which, of course, is one of the cores of the Mueller investigation.
And it's interesting, Glenn, because it comes just a few days after a federal judge ordered another Roger Stone associate to appear before the Mueller grand jury, specifically trying to get more information. How does this all add up in your mind?
Yeah, so Wolf, it does seem like this is sort of the typical strategy when you're looking at a target. Let's assume for the moment that Roger Stone is a target of Bob Mueller's investigation. You know, he is sort of circling around Mr. Stone by interviewing people who are close with him, perhaps making his way into family members. And Ms. Davis, it seems, was close with Roger Stone both personally and professionally. And interviewing somebody like that can really uncover some information important to the investigation. For example, we all remember, I think it was some weeks ago when we learned that Roger Stone actually did take a meeting with a Russian individual who was looking for, I believe, $2 million in exchange for providing Roger Stone with dirt on Hillary Clinton. Surprise, surprise. What did we also come to learn? That he had testified behind closed doors with the House Intelligence Committee and apparently forgot about that meeting. I think it strains credulity to believe that he forgot about that meeting. So what might Bob Mueller's investigators be doing now? Because Ms. Davis is close to him personally and professionally, there's been some reporting that, for example, she would keep his schedule. Of course, the investigators are going to want to deal with her to see what kind of meetings Roger Stone was taking. Even more importantly, to see if before his testimony to the House Intelligence Committee, he had been speaking with her about the meetings that he had taken. Because when you uncover evidence like that, it significantly undercuts a claim that I just forgot about meeting with that particular Russian. So there are all sorts of reasons for Mueller's investigative team to want to get every bit of information, relevant, reliable information, out of Ms. Davis that they can.
It's significant, I think, and you tell me if I'm wrong, that Mueller and his team are focusing in on Roger Stone, this part of the investigation. They haven't referred it to another U.S. district court in the Southern District of New York or out in Alexandria, Virginia, or any place like that. This is part of the Russia probe.
It sure seems like it. And Bob Mueller has taken his jurisdictional mandate very seriously, because we've seen him refer cases out to, as we see now, the Eastern District of Virginia, where Paul Manafort is on trial as we speak. He has sent several investigations.
Michael Cohen in New York.
Several investigations. Michael Cohen, and then recently we saw him refer some individuals for potentially unlawful lobbying activities, again, up to New York. So he really is keeping within the lines that have been drawn for him by Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein.
I know, Sarah, you're getting reaction. I assume you've consulted or tried to get reaction from the principals involved. What are they saying, if anything?
Well, that's right. And a lawyer who represents Kristin Davis declined to comment for this. Roger Stone and his attorney declined to comment for this. But I can tell you that the sentiment sort of in the orbit of Roger Stone's friends and allies is they really do sort of now believe the president's line on this, that this is a witch hunt. They're saying, you know, why is Mueller's team calling in witnesses and asking about whether Roger Stone has a love child? Why are they asking about Roger Stone's finances? They pretty much all believe that it's only a matter of time until Roger Stone gets indicted. And they believe that there will be something that has to do with potential collusion between Roger Stone and Russians. Remember, he talked for a while openly about how he had been in contact with Julian Assange during, all of this information coming about Hillary Clinton during the campaign, and he later walked that back. So they sort of think there will be a top-line allegation about him having something to do perhaps with hacking, perhaps with Russian collusion, and it could be followed by charges that have something to do with his finances. But they maintain, and Roger Stone did not comment for this piece, but has previously maintained that he's innocent, that he had nothing to do with Russian collusion, that he didn't do anything wrong. And he says that if the special counsel does bring charges against him, those are all going to be trumped up ways to just get at him over his finances.
Very good reporting with MJ Lee, Sarah Murray. Thank you.